Hello everyone, MFPallytime here. Welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. In today's video, in our A through Z playthrough, we have landed on Gazlowe. Last year, very polarizing character. Most of the time, he was played with a TNT-based build with Gravel Bomb. If you were a team player, if you were not a team player, you spent most of your time just building up turrets and split pushing with Robo-Goblin. He has received a talent rework in the past year, and I think both builds now have a place, even in team play, which Robo-Goblin never had any team play bonuses whatsoever before. So I think Gazlowe's in a better place than he was this time last year, and we're going to talk about some of his changes today.
Anyone order a one-man wrecking crew?
No, but I'll take it, I guess, since you're already here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves in the tomb of the Spider Queen, and this is not going to be an easy game today. The friendly team, Jim Raynor, Anubarak, Gazlowe, Tracer, Diablo. The enemy team, Gaul, Cho, The Butcher, Nova, and protected, by the way. Tough game. By the way, we picked up one Pachimari. Fucking nailed it. Diablo MVP for our team. At level 1, I'm gonna go for Goblin Repairs, and that may sound weird to you, but this is the Gazlowe specific Regen Master. Gathering Regeneration Globe increases health regeneration by 1 per second, up to 25. After gaining 25 globes, you get an additional 15 on top of that. Simply means that we'll be able to stay in lane for longer. Gazlowe's Q ability is the Rocket Turret. By putting these down, we essentially control this area. Anything the light touches is your kingdom, Simba, and we will try to do everything we can to protect our kingdom. As the minion wave is walking in, we're gonna go ahead and stun them, put a rocket turret down, grab the regen globe, and hope for the best here. Try to push this into the tower as fast as possible. We do see the Butcher still in the middle lane, but he appears to be rotating down to me right now. So we did. It depends how bad they want to kill me, I guess, too. Go ahead and throw the stun down here on the Butcher, force him to back up before he's able to deal too much damage. And, well, we'll try to hold on to our lane however we can. In the past year, there have been some pretty interesting bugs for Gazlowe. For instance, one he just got over. It makes it sound like he went to the doctor for help. What he just got over was his turrets were no longer aggroed by minions or towers. So it made pushing for him, and in particular, taking camps for Gazlowe very, very difficult to do. It had something to do with them changing the minion targeting priorities, which is fascinating. I'm so interested in how stuff like that actually happens. But that was resolved. There was also a weird interaction with Leorix in Tomb that allowed Diablo, or excuse me, I was looking, there's not even a Diablo here. No, there is. Okay, I was looking at Diablo on the minimap. I'm not losing my mind. Which allowed Gazlowe, excuse me, to get basically unlimited scrap off of Leoric and Tombs. When the Entomb would go away, there'd be enough scrap on the ground to give Gazlowe cooldown reduction for the next year and a half. It was pretty damn ridiculous. Then I threw my stun out in the wrong place. I think we are just dead. Yeah, we made it. We made it. Let's see. Were there any other really noticeable bugs? It was just, I think those are the only big two. I mean, there's always something changing, right? There's always something going on, but I think those are the big two that stuck out to me. Gazlowe did receive a rework. I have the date written down here in, oh, here are my notes, boys. In March 14th of this year, he received a rework that kind of balanced out his talent tree. He was very one-dimensional before. Now he does a lot of stuff. Clockwork Steam Fist was added late last year, but I'm pretty sure this talent was in the game when we took a look at the hero last time. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But when we auto-attack something, we are completing a quest. Every single auto attack is going towards our quest completion. So as we continue to wail into the minions in this lane and just keep attack moving into everything, it becomes very, very beneficial for us. Once we have 500 stacks of Clockwork Steam Fist, we are able to keep our turrets down basically all the time. Basic attack increases the duration of rocket turrets by 0.5 seconds. We're once again being ganked again here. I think we're okay this time, actually. Oh, that wasn't the real Nova. I fell for it. So every time we auto-attack, we're increasing the duration of our turrets, which allows us to get a pretty solid nest going in the middle of the lane, as you can see here. Now, versus this particular team, it's going to be pretty hard to maintain ourselves and stay in this lane, but of course, you know, we're trying. After reaching 600 stacks, it was higher than I thought, increased the duration. We reduced the cooldown of rocket turrets by 3 seconds, so we're able to put more turrets down at any given time and keep them on the map for a pretty considerable amount of time as well. Now, based on how XP works in this game, this unlocks some pretty cool split pushing opportunities for Gazlowe. If he's able to freeze lanes, he can basically leave turrets down that will just gather XP for him all the time, even without him being there. In the right circumstances, of course. It won't happen like that all the time, but there are some instances where it will. Part of the Gazlowe rework allowed him to take what used to be a kind of locked away mechanic behind Robo-Goblin. It was like part of having the ult up, but it allows you to retarget your turrets. So that used to be tied to a heroic ability. Now he can just do it whenever he wants to. So when the Butcher charges in here, we can tell all of our turrets to focus the Butcher. And when he's in the middle of our turret nest like that, all of a sudden, well, he's just taking a lot of damage. Now, I typically would recommend going for the slowing turrets on Gazlowe, but instead we are going to go for our turrets hitting multiple targets. This way, if the enemy team does want to gank us, we'll be able to fight back and clear the lane very, very effectively. We have a little break in the action as the Butcher is dead, and well, we have Vision of Nova down here, so I'm going to go ahead and turn in my Spider Butts and hopefully get this objective going in the right direction. Gazlowe's trait allows him to break down his constructed turrets in order to gain scrap, and he can use this scrap to get cooldown reduction to build more turrets. So when one turret's done, be sure to pick up the scrap so you can build another one quickly. And that scrap reduces all of his cooldowns, by the way, not just the turret stuff. With these final 3 butts, we should be starting the objective for the friendly team. And okay, someone else did it, so we don't even have to. And it's our goal to just continue to stay down here, to hold our lane, to control our zone, and push in here to get XP. Especially because the enemy team has a Cho'Gall, and they have to have 2 characters in the same spot all the time. We can kind of exploit our ability to soak XP even more than normal. So the real Nova's obviously at the top of the screen, and we're just going to lead her through all of these turrets, and she's taking damage from every single one. We'll go ahead and charge our laser. I was going to say hopefully finish her off, but now I'm just going to leave this area as soon as I fucking can. As fast as I fucking can. We'll try to let our health regen come into play, heal us up over time. But by having that nest just active down there in the bottom lane and forcing her to run into it, we kind of just make our own kingdom, and it can be very, very fun to watch. Now, Robo-Goblin in the past year... Oh, can we time this right? 3 seconds? 1, 2... No, didn't time it right at all. That would have been so good, though. Robo-Goblin in the past year also received some pretty sizable changes. We already talked about the fact that it had some mechanics that used to be tied to it that are no longer tied to it. For instance, being able to retarget our turrets. By the way, if you haven't noticed, I'm doing that while I'm dead right now. So even though I wasn't alive in that fight, I'm still getting more damage out by telling my turrets, hey, focus this Varian who's walking into our field of range. That's what I was gonna go. Our field of influence. That's what I was looking for. There we go. So that's a cool mechanic that you could do while you're dead without having to have a Robo-Goblin. Robo-Goblin used to just give you PvE damage increases, so I was talking about it before. I think last year we showed off my zero stress build for Gazlowe, and I think it did use Robo-Goblin. But now, you just gain 100% damage increase on your auto attacks all the time. So it's not even tied to PvE anymore. It's just, hey, you want to hit harder? Pick up Robo-Goblin, and then you can melee people real good. We're hitting for 293 right now, which is not too shabby, boys. Not too shabby at all. And we can activate Robo-Goblin. It has an activatable portion now, and we'll gain 30 armor as well as 30% movement speed, which is the reason why I don't pick up the slow on the turrets any longer. I simply just don't think it's necessary. So we'll go ahead and activate this right now, get that armor, Varian trying to go in and reducing our armor with the Colossus Smash, but you'll notice that we were able to just kind of sit there and trade for a moment, and we're actually kind of okay. Now his ult's gonna come off cooldown in like 3 seconds because Varian's fair and fucking balanced, but the point is, in situations like that before, we could be in a lot of trouble. Now, not so much. We're just doing Gazlowe things. Varian is being chased around by a lot of enemy minions, or friendly minions, enemy to him. We're going to go ahead and Sippy Cup and see if we can interrupt this at all. The Death Laser also no longer has a channel time. You can just kind of channel it indefinitely. And we're just going to set up our turrets for a little bit of point control here. Throw out a stun just in case he wants to move in on that. Nova's around here somewhere. Let's see if we can spot her. Cho'Gall coming in with all of those spider butts of his. So let's just set down more turrets. Basically make it so there's no way he could come into our territory and turn in down here, force him into the other lane. Throw down our stun in the middle here to stop all the spiders and start auto attacking, boys. Nova coming in with snipe damage. We could just back up just a little bit. Tried to activate my armor prior to him engaging super hard, but it looks like we're gonna make it out A-okay. And look at that, boys. That's a kill on the Butcher. That's a situation that Gazlowe would always be screwed in if his stun was on cooldown like it was for me. And I could have played that even better by popping Robo-Goblin prior to the Butcher coming in to get that mitigation. So in all regards here, Gazlowe's in a much better spot than he was last year. Robo-Goblin is no longer PvE-centric. It also has a place in team fights. And it allows for Gazlowe to be a way more in-your-face style hero, which is such an interesting change, and I really enjoy it. We'll go ahead and fire off the Death Laser there, start to set up with our turrets behind our enemies here as well, so they can't retreat back here. Varian is going to be taken down, and I'm going to start punching things to finish off our quest once more. Very fun. Very fun character right now. I hope I'm getting that across. Now, for all intents and purposes, you could still go for a laser-based build if you wanted to, although it is a lot more tricky to pull off. If he wants to trade here, we could do that. I did pop the Robo-Goblin bonuses, so that's going to be on cooldown for a few seconds now, but we'll go ahead and use the Death Laser to try to focus this Butcher down, and we do just that. Now, I have enough butts to start the objective, so while we have the advantage, I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. This means we'll be pushing into the tier 2 defenses in every lane for the enemy team, and the spiders always spawn where your minions are at, so this is an even better time to start the objective because all of our lanes are pushed up very far. 30 seconds on our Robo-Goblin bonuses, so I do need to be a little careful, but I want to start setting up in the bottom lane here because we can get a lot of pushing done with our Robo-Goblin. It does look like the team is fighting though, so I'm going to start rotating up just a little bit. We'll put our turrets on this side of the wall, make them focus this Cho'Gall and put a stun right underneath their feet. That stun, unfortunately, not enough to take him down, but we can leave a turret here to help with the push still. The Butcher is able to get a kill on our Jim Raynor, but we're still pushing in here super hard, super aggressively. I'll drop the stun to clear out the minion wave very quickly and hopefully get another turret down right away. I need that regen globe pretty bad to get our health moving in the right direction, but this regen will slowly start to take over, and now we are pushing into tier 2 defenses, and not only middle lane because we're here pushing stuff, but in bottom lane because our turrets helped prime that lane to be pushed. At level 13, or level 16, excuse me, I was looking at the enemy team, we are going to go for turret storage. This gives us one more turret to place down, which of course means that, let's go ahead and pop our armor here because he's obviously moving in on us, which of course means that, well, we're going to be able to put more turrets down. Once we finish our quest, which we're only a few auto attacks away from, that extra turret charge is also affected by the cooldown reduction that we're getting from Clockwork Steam Fists. Why did I drop a TNT thing under my feet when Varian charged in? Because that counts as a stun. And not only is extra large bombs increasing the radius of our TNT, it's also giving us a free bomb when he jumps in and tries to stun us. So we could potentially stun him twice, sit there and just trade into him with our increased auto attack, and then have our turrets firing away at him at the same time. The friendly team is sitting pretty up high and mighty with a 3-level lead right now as we are approaching the 13-minute mark. Our friendly team level 17. The enemy team does have enough butts to turn in for an objective, but it looks like we're zoning them back pretty hard there as the Butcher goes down yet again. While we have a little bit of free time, I'm just going to go ahead and take this objective over. Let's go ahead and put another turret down. Why not? So yeah, there was a little bit of a bug where these guys weren't, the turrets weren't actually getting any focus from anything, which is a little bit of a problem. The death laser channel that we can do forever, I mean, maybe it comes into play with a death laser build, but I never really find myself channeling the W ability at all, which is pretty much how it was before. You use it to pick up a quick kill as someone's running away. At least that's how I used it last year, and then never really any other time. There is some talent variety kind of focused towards the death laser, at least more so than there was last year as well. There we go. Our Steamwork Fists is completed, so we're going to be able to keep our turrets up for a long time and get more of that cooldown reduction to keep them up even longer. Looks like we are fighting in the middle lane right now. I'll try to join in on that, although it doesn't look like they need me. The friendly team doing work in here. We'll go ahead and put turrets down, try to trade into Cho'Gath a little bit if we can. He's simply just walking away from me right now. But of course, we can pop Robo-Goblin and chase after him, no problem. Deal that massive damage. And it looks like we are going to win the game right here, boys. Looks like we're going to win it, no problem. So, that one was over really fast. It was over really quick. The friendly team did a great job of winning engagements even without me there, and I was able to pressure other lanes, no problem. I really like the counterplay that Gazlowe has in his build now. Last year, if the Butcher ganked you like that, you had one option, and that was putting your turret down and then hoping, or putting your TNT down, and then hoping that your turrets actually selected the Butcher as he was ganking you. You would also go for the slow turrets every time because of that. But because you can get the damage reduction by popping Robo-Goblin, then all of a sudden, he doesn't deal any of that initial burst damage if you pop it at the right time. You still stun him. You may get a free stun because he stuns you, and then you get an extra bomb on the ground, and then your turrets are just firing off at everything around you anyway. But if you need to direct them onto the Butcher, you can do that. I don't have enough... I have nothing but good stuff to say about Gazlowe right now. He's still one of those characters that when you see him on your team or when you hover him in Hero League, people are like, oh, why are you picking Gazlowe? But for real, I think he's in a pretty decent spot and definitely worth your guys' attention if you haven't played him before. You'll notice I wasn't even in most of those team fights, and we were competitive with what our teammates were doing as far as damage output. If you want to play along at home, the build we use today, Goblin Repairs, Clockwork Steam Fist, Rocket X, Turret XL, Robo-Goblin, extra large bombs, turret storage, and then at level 20, I probably would have gone for Mechalord, which increases our basic attack damage even more and gives us even more armor when we pop that Robo-Goblin. Activatable every 60 seconds. He can be a menace to deal with in the right hands, and I hope you guys check him out. Up next, we are going to be playing Genji, yet another character that I have not played a lot because I think he's pretty anti-fun, just like Garrosh, but we'll give him a try in the next video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.